Assalamualaikum. I realize that the camera is a bit too close to me. Let me just make a move a little bit. Perhaps better. Okay, alright. Okay, today I'm going to talk about 5 ways how you can improve your 5 ways to create learning ambience in your tuition center. What is learning ambience in the first place? So learning ambience is that the feeling that students get and the excitement the students receive when they join or when they come into your tuition center. That means if they go into your tuition center, they feel happy. That shows that you may have a very good learning ambience. Why is that learning ambience important on the other hand? Learning ambience is important because if your tuition center provides a good learning ambience, it gives a better readiness for the students to learn. Nonetheless, without the ambience, actually the students may feel bored, may feel that your tuition center has no difference between their house and your tuition center. Worse still, sometimes if there is no good learning ambience in your tuition center, I'm afraid it will cause your tuition center to be more boring than the environment they came from. Most probably, if they come from a very well-to-do family, if your tuition center is run down, well, sad but true, you could be having a very boring tuition center. So in order to avoid this, we have to provide a very good learning ambience into the tuition center, and I'm going to share with you 5 of the things that you can consider to do to your tuition center. Alright, the first one is very simple. The first thing that you have to look into your tuition center to make the environment feel comfortable for the students and also your staff, your teachers, and even yourself is the cleanliness. When we talk about cleanliness, alright, it can be as simple as having a good furniture in the house, in the school, in the tuition center. Some of you have broken chairs and you still keep hoping that the students will tolerate the broken chairs. Bear in mind that they actually come from home. So if their house is comfortable enough, then there is no reason to leave the house to your tuition center. Okay? So many times tuition center owners think that students should compromise their poor condition of classroom. It's actually intolerable, okay? And people are paying for good facilities. The fees is not just for the quality of education, but also for the learning environment that you provide for the students. That is number 1. Cleanliness can also be created from having things in good arrangements. For example, sometimes you may have old magazines that you put into your tuition center. You may have storybooks put around in your tuition center. You may have your telekung, your prayer mat. All these actually provide extra value to your tuition center. However, if they are not being arranged properly and they are in a messy condition, that doesn't create good ambience, and then this is where part of cleanliness come from. Even though it looks like even though you may think that cleanliness is about having your floor swept, having your whiteboard clean, they are part of cleanliness, but there are more things in details that you have to look into in order to give the ambience a good one for the students. Another thing that people always overlook is that the students do not arrange their shoes when they come in. Many tuition center operators actually provide shoe racks, but unfortunately students are not arranging their shoes onto the shoe racks. Okay, why is this happening? I would put my own self into the shoes of your own students. I am one who believes that shoes are already dirty things, so why should I hold them in order just to follow your rule when I can actually arrange my shoes on the floor itself? So what I would like to say is that sometimes you put a lot of money into just buying shoe rack. Why don't you change this attitude and just give blank walls around your tuition center and let your students arrange their shoes along the empty walls? It works, okay, in a way that in that way students actually learn how to arrange things in straight lines, because wall are straights. Okay, so you can put that and keep your money. Instead of buying the shoe rack, you can just allow the students to arrange their shoes against the shoe rack. So for example, if this is against the wall, so for example this is the wall, or it's too blank, well, it's okay. Let's say this is a wall and this is the shoes. So you can ask your students to arrange them like that against the wall, and it's touching the wall. So with that actually creates a very straight line, and it gives a very clean look. And first impression, when parents see that, it shows that your tuition center has a very good system. And again, even though this creates system, these are the things that you can do beyond the SOP that we provide. And speaking of SOP, like I have told you in the previous videos, that all our products are now being made virtually, and they are already in virtual form. You can just purchase by click and click, make payment and download. No more, you don't have to give you by post, or you do not have to wait for us to respond to your emails anymore. All of the forms are now ready for you to just download. So that's the technology we're putting, and that's the good news about the forms. All right, now number 2, the thing that you can do is punctuality. All right, punctuality does not come from your staff. They do not come from your teachers. They do not come from your students, unless it is started by you. Right? So it's important that you start by coming early, or at least coming on time when there are things with regard to your staff or your teachers. Okay, I would like to take my own experience about this. There was one year my tuition center used to have annual meeting where we have our discussion to discuss the planning for the following year, and we also have the same meeting for us to brainstorm or learn from the past. Or for me myself as a tuition center operator, I took the opportunity in the meeting for me to hear from my teachers what are the things that they had to bear while teaching throughout the past year. So after listening to that, I usually make changes for the following years. So there was one year, the first year that we made our meeting, people come fashionably late, but I was on time. So people were shocked when they came on time. And some of them came late. I was there waiting. I did not start the meeting until everyone turned up. So you know what it gave? It gave a very high pressure to the teachers that they have to come early and they have to come according to time. Otherwise, nothing gets going. So, learning from that, the following year, we could make the tuition center meeting on time. I remember we had a tuition center meeting by 5 p.m. And we really had the tuition center meeting by 5 p.m. with full quorum. And as we usually did, the meeting ended in 2 hours, so it really worked and ended by second hour. And the best part was after every meeting we had food to enjoy with. All right, so that's number 2 of how you can do or create learning ambience into your tuition center. Number 1 just now is through cleanliness. Number 2 is punctuality. Now number 3 is for you to have games or board games that requires students' attention. Things like board game, chess requires a lot of thinking. Snake and ladder is great at aiming, and also congkak. These are activities or these are games that requires proper attention and strategic thinking that if you put into your tuition center, it will create a learning environment or strategic thinking in a very subtle way that the student thought they are playing, but actually they are setting themselves into learning through the game. All right, so with that, the learning ambience actually comes natural way. They thought they are playing, but actually their brain has started to function as to learn and to strategize the moment they start to play all the board games you prepared for them in the tuition center. So that's the third way how you can actually prepare your tuition center with a very good learning ambience. Now we go to the 4th point, that is quiet ambience. We can be quiet, teachers can be quiet, but students cannot. Sometimes that's a problem. So what we have to do is that from day 1, students should be taught that the tuition center is a quiet zone. That means if they bring their handphone, it has to be put in silent mode. If they are talking to their friends, it has to be at the very minimum level of voice, and the teachers too have to turn off their phone the moment they get into your tuition center. And whenever students are communicating, parents and teachers, teachers and students, teachers and teachers, teachers and staff, teachers and you, all these require very minimum tone of voice. So with that, students will get the impression that this place is purely for learning and that they cannot make noise because this is not a place for them to play. Because if you see, some students go to tuition not to study, it's an escapism from home. So knowing that, understanding that, even though we try to deny that there are still some students who leave their home for tuition just because they need to escape somehow. Maybe they just want to meet friends at tuition centers, and sometimes it's just following their own friends. So with that, you have to actually correct their mentality that they go to tuition center to learn. Whether or not they learn in the class or outside the class, then that is important for you to provide a very good learning ambience, so that they know that when they go to tuition center, they will learn something, even though it comes from the things that they discover in your tuition center. So it's important that you give a very quiet environment, then they know this is a very calming place to go, this is a very calming place to be, and they would choose your tuition center because of this experience. If they feel good in your tuition center, they will definitely find a way to come back again and again. Alright, so that's why your learning environment is important, and the ambience have to be centered for learning. And one of the ways to do it, as I said just now, is to provide quiet environment, and all of us must agree to that by giving our cooperation. You yourself have to put your phone into silent mode, no videos, loud music during the tuition center, speak with a very minimum volume of voice. So that's how you create the environment. But in class, definitely the teachers have to speak the way they should. Alright, so what we are talking about here is that how you make the entire environment. Okay, alright, now the last way that we can do on giving good ambience to your tuition center is that you can actually provide free flow plain water. I have seen some tuition centers providing water dispenser, which is very good and actually a very good idea. Some water dispensers are available for rent from as low as 99 ringgit. That is like the same amount of rental for your photocopier. It looks simple that you provide the free flow water, and it may not seem to be very impactful as I speak now, but if you were to do it, actually it helps. You know why? Naturally, we are human and we need a lot of water. So by drinking water, it calms down the students. Alright, so that's how they feel good. Sometimes you don't know, alright, students do not like to drink plain water. They prefer to choose sugary drinks, carbonated drinks. But when you provide free flow of drinking water, they find a very soothing element, and that they would like to go and drink whenever they possibly can. So yeah, even though you see that free flow of drinking water may not be as impactful as I'm telling you, all you have to do is just try and see how it works on you. Okay, so that's all the 5 ways how you can create a learning ambience into your tuition center. And I would like to recap. Okay, the first one is that you have to have a very clean tuition center in order for you to create a good ambience. No good ambience come from a dirty place. All right, forget about all your broken chairs, replace them, clean and wash your telekung in your surau frequently. Get your students to arrange your shoes on the walls, against the walls, and create punctuality. That's number 2. Create punctuality. Start from you, and then provide board games that require students' attention. Alright, things like chess, congkak, snake and ladder. These are some of them. Create a very quiet environment by turning your phone off or turning your phone to silent mode. Speak with moderation, and lastly, provide free flow of water. If you would like to have your tuition center be looked into. I am always available for consultation. You can go to our website and have a look at it. And if you would like to have our SOP, they are all provided in virtual forms nowadays. Just go to our website www.woui.com/shop and have a good day. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.